Okay, welcome to the handover. Let's start off with the keys. To lock the vehicle, push the Fiat button once, will lock all the doors, and the second press will set the alarm. The middle button just unlocks the cab doors, the two at the front, and the bottom button there will unlock the sliding side door and the rear doors. You're also going to need the driver's key when you fill up the diesel, which is on the passenger side. Just flip this open, driver's key in there, anti-clockwise, and off it comes. Alright, let's step inside now. Pull the handle firmly and slide to the right, and it'll lock in place. And just inside the door here you'll see a pack of guides, which is everything I'm going through now, along with a checklist of things to do when you arrive at a campsite, before you leave and before you set off to drive. Just above that there's a 3-pin socket. You'll see a few of these around the van. Now they only work when you're hooked up, and they'll provide 240 volt power. There's also a small control panel here. The middle button will deploy the electric step, and it's the same button to put it back in again. If it's dark, you want a bit of lighting, and that's this top right button, and that'll turn on some basic lights inside so you can see your way to the main control panel. So here is that control panel. We can see that it's powered on here, and one of the 3 light switches is on. That's the one we turned on as we came in. It's the main lighting. Also on here is a button on the left. Now that operates the lighting under the cabinets here, and it also provides power to the bathroom light, but when you come in you've got to turn it on by pushing this little blue button here. And coming back to the control panel, the middle one here seems to do nothing. However, what it does is it provides power to 2 ceiling lights up here. To turn those on you've got to push the little black thing in the centre there, and then you have power, and there's one above the bed as well. Underneath the bed you'll find some switches. The top one operates the lighting in all the cabinets and in the storage area under the bed. The second one here, that's a voltmeter for your leisure battery. You want that to be at least 12, ideally 12.2. If it's running low, then the best thing to do is run the engine for 10 minutes to top it up. There's a cigar socket at the bottom, lighting in all the cabinets, and up by the bed there are individual reading lights at the rear there, which have a switch of their own on the front. Finally, central to the cabinets on both sides you'll find a 3-pin socket that works when you're hooked up, and some USB points. So back at the control panel, the middle button here, that turns on the water pump. So if you want any water flow at all to the basins, the shower or the toilet flush, you've got to turn on that water pump. And when you're done with needing water, do be sure to turn it back off again. The left hand side is an information button, and that shows you the state of charge of your batteries and also the level of water. So the top one is your water level, the middle one is your engine battery, and the lower one is your leisure battery. Also up here you'll see a little plug symbol. That's indicating that the hookup is in and working. And all of these other 3, the 2 across the bottom and this one on the right, they don't do anything at all. When you leave the vehicle you want to turn off all the power, and you just do that by pushing this power button. That'll turn off everything except for the fridge. This is the heating and hot water controller. So to wake it up you just push the button here and you get a display. Now you can see a line there. Above the line, when symbols appear there, that tells you that the heating and hot water are on. So if it's blank, it means they're both off. So you can see the symbol is flashing here. Let's push it again to wake it up. That one is the heating thermometer inside the van, and if I want to select the heating I just make sure that's flashing and then push that button, rotate to the temperature that I want, push the button again, and now you can see symbols above the line. The flame symbol indicates the heating is on, the gas bottle means it's working off gas. On this van, heating and hot water only work from gas, not from hookup. Now in a moment that flame symbol will start flashing, and that will indicate that the boiler's firing up and going to your target temperature. Once it goes solid it means it's reached the target temperature, and if you choose too cold or too hot still you can just adjust the temperature and push the button again. When you want to turn the heating off, push that button, rotate to off and push again. Next to it is hot water, so to select that we rotate this button until the hot water symbol is flashing, push, and you've got 2 settings here. Rotate for eco, which is warm enough for most people even in the shower, but if it's not you can choose hot.
choose your setting, push again, and now we can see above the line that the hot water symbol is on. Gas bottle again indicating it's heating on gas, and again in a second that symbol above the line will start flashing, meaning it's working up to your target temperature. Once it gets there, it'll stop flashing, and that's how you know that you're ready to have a shower. There you go. So when that goes solid, your water is reaching target temperature. Same thing to turn it off. Select the hot water symbol, push the button, rotate to off and push, and that's now all off. Now, if the boiler's not happy, it'll come up with an error code, and there are two common ones you'll see. 507, that means that the gas supply is not working. It's most likely that you've been driving, you've pulled over, turn the heating on. Have you remembered to turn the gas on at the bottle? That's the first question. If you have, probably still come up with this error because it can't pull the gas through to the boiler. So to fix that, what you do is you light the hob and let that run for just 30 seconds or so, and that will pull the gas through. Now you have to tell the boiler that you fixed the problem, and to do that, push the button, go to home. That's cleared it on its own. Now if it didn't clear it, then what you have to do is to go around to the triangle symbol that you saw just here and push the button again. I'll show you that now. Okay, so usually it will clear itself once it finds the gas, as we just saw, but sometimes it doesn't, and the error code remains on the screen. 507 and 517 mean the same thing, by the way. It just means it can't find the gas. So you can see that warning triangle just above the round button. You need to push this button twice to go into programming mode. That will normally clear it. If it doesn't, let's just do that. If it doesn't, then that warning triangle will still be showing here, and what you do is you rotate the knob until the warning triangle is flashing, which will be here. Then you push twice and that'll clear the warning triangle. You might have to do it a couple of times. This is the other common error code, 412. This means that the window next to the passenger seats is open. And the reason it produces an error is because the gas vent is underneath this window, so it has to be closed so fumes don't come back in again. The way it works is this little pad pushes on this sensor when the window is closed and tells the boiler that the window is closed. So all you've got to do is close it like that, and it should then clear the error. As we see here, the error code is gone. Now if that little sticky pad is missing, then you'll find a spare one in the road kit, which is when you open the back doors of the van on the right hand side where you've got your hookup cable. There's a box in there and there's a spare sticky pad. Just cut it in half, stick one on top of the other and in the window there, and that'll fix that problem. In the guide pack by the front door you'll find full instructions for the heating and hot water, and on the reverse of that are all the error codes and how to fix them. Off to the right of the control panels is the emergency equipment, fire extinguisher and fire blanket, first aid kit and a towel for wiping the floor. Just above me here there's a roof hatch which you can open by pushing this button, putting the bar down and slide the bar backwards, and you can have it in a fully open position like that, or you can put the bar into one of these two slots for keeping it a little bit less open. I wouldn't recommend having it open at all if you're expecting rain, though it still comes in. And then to close it, just push the bar past the button like that till it clicks in place. Now on this roof hatch there is a blackout blind and an insect blind as well. Now the windows can be opened. There's two in the back doors and then there's two in the side doors. And you see this little orange button here, you've got to push that before you can turn the handle. That's a lock. There are 4 of those, and then you just push the door outwards and you can tighten off these flywheels. There's one on each side and that'll hold the window open. And in the back by the bed you've got the same arrangement on the 2 rear windows here. Now if you're worried about security, you want them to be locked whilst you're still getting a bit of air in, there is a slot here you can see in the catch, and if you just close the handle so it engages into that slot instead of on the front here, then you've got a little bit of air coming in but nobody can get in through the window. Okay, let's have a look at the kitchen area. Underneath this cover you'll find the hob, and to light that push the button anti-clockwise and now push it in and keep it held in. That'll release the gas, and then push this sparker button here and that'll light the hob. Make sure that when you're done you turn back to 12 o'clock here to make sure the flame is out. Left hand side you've got the sink. To get water flow you just lift this and you go that way for cold, that way for hot, and you can also lift this tap out of the way to give you a bit more working space as well. Now this does rattle a bit when you're travelling on this fan, so I'd recommend putting a tea towel underneath it during travel. And talking of tea towels, in this cupboard above the hob you'll find a couple of tea towels, kitchen roll, cups and glasses, and some bin liners as well. And just next to the hob on the end here you'll find a worktop extension which just flips up and locks into place like that. To fold it back down again you have to unlock the legs. So at the front here there's a little catch. You move in your direction, do that on both sides with two hands, and then the legs will fold down. Underneath the hob you've got some drawers. Push the button there to release. Open it up, you've got all your cutlery and various bits of kitchen equipment. Always make sure you lock after you're done, otherwise when you're travelling they'll fly open. Plates and bowls and a gravy jug in there. And in the bottom you've got your saucepans, a sieve for straining rice and pasta, salad bowl, and all your cooking gear. Okay, let's take a look at the fridge. To open it you pull this handle to the right and then outwards like that. Inside you've got a freezer compartment which is a quite decent size with an ice tray in there. Now you might sometimes find that you can't open this, it's just jammed. That just means you've had it open a few seconds ago. You need to leave it 30 seconds to chill down again. Quite decent space over 3 shelves, some salad bins up there and some storage bins in the door. Now this fridge is all electric, it doesn't run off gas, just runs off the leisure battery. Now we can see that it's on from the blue symbol there. Now if you touch that blue symbol it will then tell you how cold the fridge is. So that's 3 out of 5 bars there. Now I'd normally recommend around 4 bars. Anything more than that it can start to freeze vegetables. To adjust that temperature you need to turn the fridge off by holding down the power button for 3 seconds and then push it again, and when everything lights up, which it will, there we go, you can now adjust this just by sliding your finger along the bars as necessary. Now this one on the right hand side you've seen there, the moon symbol, that's a night setting. If you're finding that the motor is too loud at night and you want to make it a bit quieter, push the power button to light that up, hold the moon button down 3 seconds till everything flashes, and it's now on quiet mode. Let's take a look at seating now. If you're travelling people in the back there are seat belts here of course, and the buckles are behind this headrest here. There's also a table here. Now you can leave that with us if you don't want to take it, particularly if you're having a dog, which will probably be staying on the floor down here. You can move it left and right to an extent by tipping the table upwards, so lift by sort of 45 degrees and then you'll be able to slide it along that bar further forwards or away from the passengers. The front 2 seats will swivel, and on the side of the seats, both sides, both passenger and driver, you'll see this bar here. If you push that bar outwards it will release the seat so that you can turn it. Now what you might find is that it hits the table here, so you can either move the table further backwards or move the seat forwards, and the bar for moving the seat is here, that stays at the front. Pull that up and you'll then be able to move it around, move it further forward so you can get that out of the way. Now while we're here you'll see that the armrests have a ratchet here which is for adjusting the height of the armrest, very comfortable when you're driving. So the table can be removed from the inside of the van and put on the outside on this bar down here. What you do is you put it on at 45 degrees, make sure it's locked in place, and then lower the table and you've got somewhere outside for your drinks. Okay, let's take a look inside the bathroom now. So you've got a wet room here, the toilet on the right hand side. Now to use the toilet all you do is you lift the lid of course, and you'll see that there's a valve in the bottom there, and what you need to do is to open that by pulling this lever towards you, and that opens up the valve. You can put toilet paper down here and you'll find some in the cupboard under the sink, and then when you're done, if you push this blue button for a few seconds it will just flush some water around as long as you hold the button. Now on the left hand side you'll see two other lights here. They indicate how full the toilet cassette is. The first light comes on when it's half full, and the top light comes on when it's completely full. Now to clean the bowl you'll need some antiseptic wipes, and you'll find those just opposite you there, and those need to go into the bin bag outside, of course. And then once you're done, of course, don't forget to close the valve by pushing that back up again and closing the lid. And there we are. Now there is a shower mat just down here for when you're stepping out. The shower works from the basin here, so it just pulls out on a cord here, and then to turn the water on you just push this upwards. As long as your water pump is running you'll get water. Hot is that way, cold is that way. However, motorhoming, you've got limited water available, so if you shower like you do at home you'll run out quite quickly. So what you need to do is to shower like you'd wash a dog, so you wet yourself down, turn the water off to save it, lather up and then rinse off at the end. This tap does have two modes. This is the sink mode. The shower, you pull this silver thing downwards and it goes into shower mode for you. There is a shower curtain here, so when you're using the shower what I'd recommend is that you do use that. It just unfolds like this. There's a bow there to undo, and it slides along this rail at the top, and it just covers the door so that the door doesn't get wet, and also if your towel is hanging on this hook that stays dry too. Now just a word on ventilation. In these camper van bathrooms it can get quite humid and you can start to get problems from that if it's not properly ventilated. So I do recommend just after or during your shower that you do open this window so you've got ventilation, and perhaps leave it open in the vented position all the time, that slot that we saw earlier on. And also the shower tray, if it's wet after you've used it, just leave it dangling down so it has a chance to dry out rather than tying it up straight away. So at the back of the van there's a cubby with the toilet chemicals, a cupboard with the leisure battery in it, some storage in here, and a ladder. That's to help you get up into bed, and also if you've hired the sun awning or the driveway awning you can use it outside so you can reach the awning rail on the side of the van. And the cupboard on the right hand side contains your water filling hose. There's a collapsible jug and a funnel so you can fill up with water if you can't reach the tap for some reason. Emergency triangles at the back. Your levelling blocks in case you're parked on unlevel ground. An emergency road kit that's got high-vis jackets, spare bulbs, fuses and batteries in there. A washing line kit with line and pegs, and the hose for the outdoor shower which runs hot and cold. And also in here will be your hookup cable. And there's a cupboard at the back that contains your gas bottles. This also has your emergency puncture repair kit and your towing eye. To turn on the gas you just rotate this, tap on top like a normal tap at home, and that turns the gas on. And then to turn it off just turn it clockwise, and you need to turn it off by law for driving. If your connected bottle runs out of gas you'll need to switch to the reserve bottle provided. And first of all, to do that you need to turn off the brass tap here to make sure the gas isn't flowing, and then undo the supply pipe using this black flywheel. Now it's just done by hand but it goes the opposite way to what you expect, so to undo it it's clockwise. When that's fully out you then want to connect it here onto your reserve. That's just a dust cap in there which you take out by turning clockwise, and then thread on your supply pipe onto this. Now use two hands. Use one to make sure that it's fully aligned because it's quite a fine thread, and then use the other one to turn the black flywheel, and it's anti-clockwise, the opposite way to what you expect. Once it's on firmly you can then turn the gas on using the brass tap. And all those instructions are on the door here for you as well. Now once you've connected it you need to light the hob to pull the gas through. In the cupboard on the left under the bed you've got your tyre kit here, so it's a rubber sealed tyre kit which you'll need to get the rescue people to do for you. And also in here you'll find a shower hose which connects to the outside shower point. The point for the shower is here next to the power hookup, and to connect it you need to put this into the supply there. You see that little slot there? That needs to go into the 3 o'clock position, little notch there. And you just push it firmly, make sure it's in line, and push firmly until you hear a click as the sheath engages. There we go. Now you can adjust the temperature with the knob there, and to get water flow, that's using the shower here. There's a little lever here which allows the water to come out. And to undo it, you just push this sheath backwards. You may get a little spray of water coming out as you take it out. And this shower really is made for washing down dogs or perhaps clothes outside. So to hook up at a campsite so that your 3-pin sockets inside will work, it's this power socket on the side here. Open that up, flip this out, and you'll see that the bottom edge of this has a little tab, and that is where this slot goes in on your cable. Now, as you put the cable in, you want to open up the cap 90 degrees, and then that slides in over the top of the van end. Push in until you hear a little click. That click is this tab on the cap engaging with that little notch there. That's just to make sure that it can't pull out by mistake. And when you want to unhook, you need to lift that to clear that tab, and then pull out, tuck that away, and close. Now, one hint that's a really good idea is once you've hooked up, drape the power cable over the driver's mirror before you take it off to the campsite supply, and that will make sure that you don't accidentally drive off with the cable still connected. So you're going to need to fill up with fresh water at every possible opportunity, and you use the black key to open the filler here. Just put it in, turn 180 degrees anti-clockwise, and then twist this cap off. It can be quite stiff, so you might have to give it a lot more force than that, but don't worry, you won't break it. And then you take your hose pipe and put it in. You're going to a good 6 or 8 inches in there, and you can feel it gripping the hose pipe there, and then just go and turn on your water supply. Now, when the water tank is full, you'll first of all hear it draining out through the bottom here, and then at one point, as it keeps filling, it'll start coming out of the filler. And you just turn off the water at this point and remove the hose. So to access the toilet cassette, first you need the black key in here. Push both the buttons, grab the edge of the door and let it drop down. And to remove the cassette, you need to pull up this tab here and then pull on the handle, and the cassette just comes out like this. Now we need to take this cassette to the black waste point. You can either carry it like this, or using the end handle, or you can drag it along the grass by putting this handle down slightly so it unclips, and then dragging it like this. Okay. So take the cassette across to the campsite's black waste point or to the public toilet, and when you get there, you want to open up this, take the cap off, put this somewhere really safe so it doesn't go down the drain or get lost, and then pour out into the drain whilst pushing this button at the top here. That's a vacuum breaker, so it'll let some air in. Here we go. Yep. So now we're going to put some water in here to flush it out. To do that, pull back this cover, turn this knob to open the valve, put some water in, fill it about a third or so, and then turn the knob back to cover the valve, put the cover back on, and put this end cap back on the exit pipe, and give it a little swill around like this, and then empty it back into the black waste point by taking off the cap, and again, just like before, pushing the button while you pour it away. In the back of the van, the left hand side in this cubby, you'll find the water and toilet chemicals we need, along with a beaker and some gloves which you should wear when you're doing this for real. Bottles are a bottle of just plain water and a bottle of blue toilet chemicals, and what you need to do is to fill up the beaker that's provided with the blue chemicals, and then they go in the tank the same way. So pull back this cover, turn the knob to open the valve, and pour in a beaker of blue chemicals, and then you pour in 3 bottles of water. So then we're going to close the valve like that and then slide the cover over, and the indented bit goes towards the back of the cassette. Once that's in place, just slide it into the drawer. Make sure the handle is properly recessed. Just to push it down, push in place, close and lock. Behind the main side door you'll find the grey waste drain valve. Now grey water, that's the water that's come from your showers, your shower and your basin and your kitchen sink. Now that's the water that will smell after a while if you don't empty this regularly. It's much more of a problem than emptying the toilet cassette. So to empty this water, what you do is you pull this handle, it'll only come out an inch or so, and any water in there will drain out through this drain valve here. Big campsites will ask you to drive over the grey waste point and open it, and then drive off when you're finished. Small ones may well say that it's fine just to let the water drain as you use it, in which case you leave the valve open the whole time you're on the campsite and it just flows through. And some fussy sites will not have a drive over grate and won't allow you to keep it open either. If that's the case, then keep it closed. Next time you're out and about in a lay-by, dump your grey water there. It's essentially harmless water, as long as you're using eco shower gels and hand soap. Now once it's emptied, you just push this back in, but it's very difficult to push. The best thing to do is to knock it with the side of your hand a couple of times, and that'll close that valve. And as I say, just to emphasise, do empty this at every possible opportunity. Keep that tank fairly empty. If you're on unlevel ground where you're staying overnight, you can use the levelling blocks. Now these you just basically drive up to one of these 3 levels, and you might do this on just one front wheel if you're in a dip. You might do it on both front wheels, possibly both back wheels if you're sloping down towards the rear, in which case you reverse onto them. And sometimes your whole van is tilting, let's say, to the left, and then you'd put them under both left wheels. So as you drive up these, obviously your passenger needs to be outside, talking to you through the window and indicating when you're about to go off the front of them, so that you don't do that. There is a level inside the cab, so the driver can see roughly when you're level. And the main reason for using these is to make sure the fridge is approximately level, because otherwise it doesn't work very efficiently. So a quick look in the cab. The right hand stalk, that's the wipers. Turn them on like this. Pull towards you for windscreen wash. And to flick wipe, just do a single wipe, that's up like that. Left hand side is the indicators and lights. So the lights are not automatic, you've got to turn them on, and that's just by this stalk here. And then to go to the main beam, you just push away, pull back towards you for dip, and pull towards you for flash. Cruise control, which is quite nice in a van. To turn it on, push this button, and then just push the set button when you're going the speed you want. And then to cancel it, if you need to slow down slowly, push the cancel button. And then to resume the speed you were previously at, it's the resume button there. Now there's a reversing camera here. It has 2 views, looking downwards for reversing and looking outwards for when you're driving in the normal mode. So I would always have this on, and the button to change it is that V1, V2 button there. And that changes the view, and we're now looking outwards as if we were driving. So as I say, you should keep that on all the time so you can see what's happening. If it is annoying you can turn it off using that power button. If it's too bright, push the M button here, and then you can use the up and down arrows to adjust the brightness. 6-speed manual. To go into reverse, you just pull up this sheath. Heating control is pretty straightforward. You've got aircon button in the middle here. Temperature is that one with the notch, and then fan speed underneath it. Where you want it to blow again is with the notch here. And then if you want to recirculate going through smoke or what have you, it's that one there. Underneath the heating, you've got this control panel here. Now that one will set off your hazard warning lights, obviously. This is your locking button, so when you go to sleep at night, if you push that so the red light comes on, then all the doors all the way around the van will lock without the alarm being set. For charging over here, there's USB A and C, and I've provided an additional cigar charging point for extra USB A charging if you need it. There's electric mirrors here as well, so if I show you that from above, the 2 on the right are for the driver, the 2 on the left are for the passenger, and the reason you've got 2 settings is that you can adjust the top and bottom mirrors separately, so you just switch this to that position and that will adjust the blind spot mirror for you as well. There are blinds built into the windows here, so for the side ones you just pull this tab backwards like that and then lift it upwards and draw it across the window, making sure it goes behind the plastic here at the top, and then it just slots in and locks down at the top there. The windscreen one, you first of all need to take the camera off, which just lifts off and folds flat like that, and then you pull the blind up in the centre. It's easier with two people, if I'm honest, one at each side. There we go, and you pull it up until it's fully shut against the window there. There is a slightly bizarre phone holder in here, which is here. Grab this tab at the back, making sure it clears the blind, and pull up firmly. On the side here there's a lever that you pull out, that unlocks it here. Your phone goes in there to adjust the size, and when your phone is in place, push that tab back in and your phone will then be locked in place. To fold it back again, you have to open that, close those, fold that in and bang it back down again. And finally, in the top corner of the windscreen you'll find the vehicle dimensions, the payload, which you need to know by law in case you're asked, the breakdown telephone number and my phone number. Just give me a call or a WhatsApp or a text if there are any problems during your break at all. Thanks for listening, and look forward to seeing you very soon.